Another day, another hoax. And we're back, Mike Cernovich, Cernovich.com, here to just briefly teach you how to spot a fake news story. It's one thing to call a story fake, it's another thing to show you how I know it's fake. So, for those of you who don't know, hold on, I gotta get some cereal for my kids. Hold on, I gotta get some Magic Spoon, not sponsored. The Roomster. The Roomster, she's a hungry one. Anyhow, here's how you can spot that story is fake about Trump. One is, they're four anonymous sources, which is a good tell. But I'll show you the better tells. The better tell is just how vague it is, right? This is a blockbuster story, to put it mildly. A huge story. And there's just no level of granularity that you would expect. So here's how the story begins. When President Donald Trump canceled a visit, he blamed rain for the last-minute decision, saying that the helicopter couldn't fly and that Secret Service wouldn't drive him there. Neither claim is true. That's actually, this is already a lie. The whole issue with the weather and the helicopter, we went through that already when it happened, and that was just one of the reasons. But the big issue, though, is Trump rejected the idea of the visit because he feared his hair would be disheveled. In a conversation with senior staff members in the morning of the scheduled visit, Trump said, "Why would I go to that cemetery? It's filled with losers." Okay, so that is a buried lead, right? That is what you would call the buried lead. Why in the world would you lead up to that story about Trump's hair? You know what I'm saying? That's your lead up. You have a blockbuster story. That story of everything that they've said about Trump, that's just a bombshell, right? You have that bombshell, but the lead up to that bombshell is about Trump's hair. So let's keep reading. So there's something called a level of granularity that's lacking. This story would never be approved in a responsible newsroom. So in a conversation with senior staff members on the morning of the visit, okay, where did the meeting happen? What meeting was this? Right? This is not, there's no level of granularity here. Where? Who was there? Where did it happen? Was it in a car? A drive over? Was it in a hotel? You would know that. If you were actually present at that meeting, you would know that. Why should I go to the cemetery? It's filled with losers. Okay, that's just dumb. Nobody would say that about World War I veterans, right? It's just not, it's just so bizarre and out there that it's almost kind of refuted. And then in a separate conversation on the same plane, Trump referred to more than 1,800 Marines who lost their lives as suckers for getting killed. Okay. Again, where? Conversation on the same trip. Where? What day? Right? There's no granularity to the story. There's no corroborating details. There's nothing at all that you would expect in a credible article. I'll give you an example. When I would break big stories, which I still could do, but I choose not to, I would tell you who was eating lunch together. You remember that? I would tell you, here's where they were, and here's where the people were sitting. Do you understand? That's the level of granularity that you would want. In a conversation on the same trip, what conversation? Now, what Jeffrey would say, the Atlantic would say, was, well, we didn't want to go into specifics because that would out a source. No, they didn't want to go into specifics because then somebody could be like, no, I was in that same room. That literally didn't happen. So it's a vague thing where, we know that you did something wrong. I know what you did last summer. Oh, shit, what did I do? Right? It's this vague aspersion where you can't defend yourself because there's no proof. There's no substantive accusation. They're not saying Trump in a car driving over with 25 people said this, because then people who are in the car would say, no, we were in the car. That didn't happen. This is just not true. That's why they kept it vague. The whole thing is just a gigantic hoax. The good news is that nobody believes it. That's for sure. So the good news about this latest hoax in the Atlantic is that people just don't believe it. And they shouldn't believe it. And it's not going to hit.
and it'll dominate the news cycle to try to distract from Antifa, but nobody believes it. Thanks for watching, Mike Cernovich, cernovich.com, Cernovich.com. For more information, watch Hoaxed Movie. Go to hoaxedmovie.com. If you watch Hoaxed Movie, you'll be able to spot hoaxes all by yourself. Hoaxed Movie, top 10 documentaries right now still.